Good evening, everybody. I am happy to be here and congratulate all of you on the International Women's Day. And that was the reason why I said I must come here, though it was a little difficult because the Supreme Court sits till 4 o'clock. But I excuse myself for this day. Now, if you look back, Women's Day was celebrated about 100 years ago to start with. And I was doing some research on the net and I found that it's a national holiday in some countries. As far as the Indian context is concerned, if you see the pre-constitution or pre-1950 position, our laws were fashioned and made by the British. So it is the colonial era or the Victorian hangover that we have seen. Many issues have been raised, including Article 377, which is now pending before a larger bench of the court. But what I found, which I think is the most obnoxious part of that era, is in relation to the offense of rape. The law provides, as it stands now, that there is no marital rape. So any forced sexual intercourse between a man and his wife over the age of 15 years is not treated as rape. There have been many discussions as to whether this provision should be deleted or not, but as of today it continues on the statute book. Some part of it is sought to be redeemed by the Domestic Violence Act and so on, but this continues to be, if I may say so, a blot. This is despite the fact that our Constitution makes it clear that there will be no discrimination on account of race, color, creed or gender. And the Constitution imposes the duty that there should be no depravity against women and so on and so forth. But things have gone on. Parliament has moved, although a little slow. It has amended the Hindu Succession Act to provide for more equal rights. But if you see the laws of inheritance based on different religions, take, for example, and surprisingly, the Parsis, a very small community, completely educated, completely enlightened, and very, very forward in all spheres of life, whether professionals, lawyers, doctors, whether businessmen and so on. If a non-Parsi marries a Parsi, then she does not get the rights of a Parsi. The children may, but the woman will not. So we have all kinds of disparity which are going on. And personally, I believe that this mindset that a man is superior because he has more brute strength, this has gone on for a number of centuries, when essentially women were homemakers. There was no light of education, and therefore, coupled with this Victorian era and the relics, that women were treated as chattel. The current government, under the leadership of the Prime Minister, in the Abhiyan of Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao, is taking great leaps forward in providing various schemes for education, nutrition, health. There have been various laws which prohibit dowry, which prohibit child marriage, which prohibit prenatal determination of sex. But my experience shows, doing cases of marital discord, assault, so on and so forth. My experience shows that merely by passing these laws, which are meant to stop these atrocities, or on the other hand, passing laws which will empower women. For example, all the panchayats under the constitution must have a reservation of 1/3. But as far as parliament is concerned, it is stuck in parliament. It was passed by Rajya Sabha, but it is stuck in Lok Sabha because of the mindset of some parties where the male ego, I'm sorry to say, runs supreme. But unless and until this thought is nurtured in every male in a family, let's say a father or a man who starts a family, unless he starts treating his wife and children, say a man and a woman, or a boy and a girl, equally, to show that the family treats women, whether a sister, a daughter, or a mother, equally, unless it comes from every family merely by passing laws, I don't think we'll meet the objective or meet the challenge. Now, if you go back, people used to say that lack of education is the biggest problem. But the kind of cases that I have done in the courts are people who are educated, who are from metropolitan cities, who are doing reasonably well, but still that mindset, still this fact that a male is superior and a woman's place is elsewhere, that continues and persists even today. We have a law on abuse at workplace. I don't know how many such cases are reported because of the domination of the male in a business enterprise. The reporting will also be to a male head. There may be a committee, but unless and until this umbrella is removed and women stand shoulder to shoulder, and our experience has shown, we have had a woman prime minister, we've had a woman president, we've had women astronauts, we have women in the army, and today I saw that there is an all-women's flight, the entire crew, including the pilots, on the longest Indian flight from India to San Francisco, a 16-hour flight only manned by women. So there is no gainsaying that man may be having more brute force, but a woman's compassion, a woman's endurance, a woman's intuition is certainly greater than a man. On the other hand, we worship women gods, and yet there is needless controversy raging in the country about entry of women in some religious places. To say the least, this discloses a completely ignorant viewpoint, contrary to the Constitution and contrary to the laws. I have seen the work of a lot of NGOs. The NGOs work, they tend to work in isolation. Unless you join hands with the panchayats at the ground level and move on with the district administration, the result will be kind of angular. So it's not only education. People are educated today. There are states which have near 100% literacy. Take Kerala, for example. So education also has not helped. And these problems and atrocities and a step sisterly treatment is being meted out. So no amount of laws or mere punishments is really going to help. What we need is a nationwide program of awareness that right from birth, a girl child and a male child are to be treated equally. Both must get equal amount of opportunity, and the father must ensure and must show to the boy that the girl is also entitled to the same benefits, and in fact, instead of a weaker sex, should be called a gentler sex, and therefore should get more and more advantages and more benefits. It is heartening to note that we have a lot of schemes which are going on at the district level, the panchayat level, state level, and even the central government level. But unless and until the citizenry gets together, unless and until every home and every family gets together, we will be lacking in our results. As far as I am concerned, I can tell you that most of my juniors are girl lawyers, and I find them more hardworking, more sincere than their male counterparts. So I would advocate that each one of you must try and give a little more fillip, a little more advantage to a girl student or a girl apprentice or somebody working in an organization. If a man and a woman are kind of equal, you must give a push to the woman, and then only we will understand what it is all about and have a healthy society in which people don't look at women like chattel. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you very much.